Nobody has more respect for women than I do. Nobody.
Hillary Clinton wants to abolish it, believe me. She wants to abolish our Second Amendment.
I think they didn't deny it. I don't think anybody denied it.
Other presidents did not call. They'd write letters, and some presidents didn't do anything.
Many people have come out and said I'm right.
You really do have to ask yourself, where does it stop?
Hello and welcome to Fallacious Trump, the podcast where we use the insane ramblings of the not-so-great pumpkin to explain logical fallacies. I'm your host, Jim.
And I'm your other host, Mark. A logical fallacy is an error in reasoning that results in bad or invalid arguments. And the logical fallacy we're looking at this week is the appeal to fame. Not so great pumpkin. Perfect. That's it.
Yeah.
That's all you need.
Yeah. Yeah. Halloween episode. Ooh,
Yeah.
That's about as spooky as it gets.
Yeah.
The appeal to fame is when people basically equate how famous someone is with how trustworthy they are. And therefore, if you talk about someone being super famous and therefore you should believe what they have to say, or you should give more weight to what they have to say, or someone who you've never heard of, therefore they can't have a genuinely good opinion or a good grasp of the situation, because who are they? Yeah. No one's ever heard of them. They're shit.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
what do they know?
And obviously Trump thinks that this is one of the most important things, how famous people are.
Yeah.
And our first example from Trump comes from when he was being asked questions about the maybe deal that he's worked out about TikTok.
Oh, yeah. Did that ever happen? Yeah.
Well, kind of. Recently, they've got a group of American businesses together to invest in ByteDance and invest in the main company, so that it would end up being over 60% US owned.
Right.
And therefore those companies, or the leaders of those companies, would sit on a board that would decide how it's run and what to do with it. So it takes away that side of it being kind of indebted to the Chinese government in a way.
Yeah,
that was part of what people had a problem with. So there isn't an inked deal, but there's stuff that's been being talked about. And so he was asked a question in the Oval Office about how confident they would be if the Chinese did actually have control of the algorithm, if not the decisions that are being made around the company as a whole.
Would you accept a deal where China controls the algorithm of TikTok?
Well, it's all being worked out. We're going to have very good control. We have these are American investors, all of them, and they all love our country. They're all very well-known people, very famous people, actually, financially, and they'll have control of it.
So they're financially famous people.
Financially famous, famous in money. Yeah. So we should therefore trust their judgment.
Absolutely.
Because they've got
there's nothing to worry about.
The interests of the American people at heart. Yeah. Not their financial fame.
Yeah.
Yes.
He's got the appeal to patriotism, the idea that because they're American companies, they love America, therefore we can trust them. Also, one of the companies is Rupert Murdoch's group, which is, he's Australian. Yeah. And
famously untrustworthy. Yes.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's right, yeah.
Another one is Larry Ellison's group, Oracle.
Oh, right, yeah.
Again, yes, American. Trustworthy? Well, yeah. So
financially famous. Yeah.
Yeah, and that's the thing. When the fame comes from being super rich, there's at least a reasonable chance that super richness didn't come from being 100% trustworthy.
So, right, yes, or altruistic.
Yeah, they're American, therefore the ethnocentric thing works. They're patriots, they love America, and also they are famous. So, what are you worried about?
It'll be fine.
In that one, he didn't specify who those famous people are, and he doesn't often do that when he talks about famous people. Yeah. He likes to bring up famous people that you've definitely heard of, but he's not going to say who they are.
Who they are, no.
Because they're too famous.
And it also might give away the fact that he's making it up.
Yeah, there is that.
Yeah.
But he was talking about his, persecution complex at a rally that he gave in Waco, Texas, and he brought this guy up.
I had a man come up to me, a very famous man, and almost everybody probably would have heard of him, a businessman. I saw him about 2 weeks ago. He said to me, could I ask you, I'd never even liked him very much, to be honest, but he did say it. He said, could I speak to you for a second? Yeah. Mr. President, I'd like to ask you one question. How do you take it? I said, take what? How do you take the abuse? How do you wake up in the morning and put on your clothing? How do you put on a shirt? Every single day there. If that ever happened to me, I think I wouldn't know what to do.
I mean, this didn't happen, obviously.
No.
I am prepared to believe that, because they're American companies, they're very, they love America, therefore that people,
Somebody
famous
asked
and
him.
otherwise,
Yeah.
go up to him occasionally and ask, how do you sleep at night?
Yeah,
But-
yes, exactly. How do you deal with the abuse that you mete out on other people?
Yeah.
How do you live with yourself?
I'm even prepared to believe that some people are surprised he's able to dress himself.
Yeah. Yeah. I don't know, how do you put a shirt on every day? Yeah. Well, I'll put a clean shirt on every day. By the end of the week, can't get my jacket on. Yeah.
I mean,
yeah.
I'd be tempted if I ever met him to ask how he doesn't fall down more.
Yeah.
But
yes.
by adding the
Yeah.
fact that he's a famous person who asked him this, it implies that therefore this question has some weight. It has a reason for being asked, and that this person kind of understands what's going on and how hard it must be for him.
And he adds the extra little spicy bit. He said, I don't even like him much.
Yeah.
So it's that kind of, so you think, oh, well, that narrows it down. So obviously it's someone that's at some point has disagreed with him, and that's
Yes.
why he doesn't like him. He's famous, and I don't like him. So that's kind of adds to the
Makes it all the more
veracity.
plausible,
Yes,
doesn't it?
exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah. And all that we should be pricking up our ears to go, oh, blimey, he doesn't even like him, and he's remembered what he'd said.
I mean, that is basically the idea that even people who disagree with him or don't like him still marvel at his ability to continue to take on all of the abuse that he gets and still manage to be the best president of all time.
Right,
Even
yeah.
his haters have to give it to him.
Have
They
to acquiesce and say, yeah, you're
That's
right.
what it is.
Yeah.
So finally, we have his interview with Terry Moran of ABC, where they talked about, in this case, Kilmar Abrego Garcia, the man who was sent to an El Salvadoran prison for being a bit brown.
He said he wasn't a member of a gang. And then they looked, and on his knuckles, he had MS-13.
There's a dispute
Well,
over
wait a minute. He had MS-13 on his knuckles tattooed.
Oh, he had some tattoos that are interpreted that way. But let's move on.
Wait a minute. Hey, Terry.
He did not have the
Don't do that.
letter MS-13.
It says MS-13.
That was Photoshopped. So let me
That
just...
was Photoshop, Terry. You can't do that. Hey, they're giving you the big break of a lifetime. You know, you're doing the interview. I picked you because, frankly, I never heard of you, but that's okay. But I picked you, Terry. But you're not being very nice. He had MS-13 tattooed.
We'll agree to disagree. I want to move on to something else.
Terry, do you want me to show you the picture?
I saw the picture. We'll
And you
agree
think it was
to disagree.
Photoshop? Well,
Here we go.
Don't Photoshop it. Go look at his hand. He
Fair
had
enough.
MS-13.
He did have tattoos that can be interpreted that way. I'm not an expert on them. I want to turn to Ukraine,
No,
sir.
Terry,
I want to get to
Terry,
Ukraine.
No. He had MS as clear as you can be, not interpreted. This is why people no longer believe the news, because
when
it's
he was
fake
photographed
news.
in El Salvador, they aren't there.
Yeah.
It was that sigh, that Terry Moran sigh. That was, oh man, you kind of feel for him. And he's going, because what Trump's saying is, I've plucked you from obscurity.
Yes.
And this is all you give me. All you're giving me is you're not bowing down and kissing my toes and telling me I'm right.
But also in there he's saying, no one's ever heard of you. I'm the fucking president.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Who are you
to tell me?
Why are they going to believe you
the
over
truth
me?
of this guy?
Yeah.
You're nobody.
Yeah.
You're not famous. I've never heard of you. Therefore, no one has ever heard of you. Therefore, you're probably lying. That's kind of an implication that you could read into this, certainly. Yeah. And he's not like the kind of person that Trump is going to see on TV. He works for ABC, for one thing.
Yeah.
Not anymore, he doesn't. Not since this interview. Mm-hmm. But he worked for them between 1997 and 2025. So pretty long time.
Yeah.
And he was telling the truth.
Yeah.
And Trump was either lying or, I think more likely, such a fucking idiot that he looked at that picture, which clearly had someone put on MS-13 in MS Paint.
Yeah.
And thought, yeah, that's probably exactly what that man's knuckles look like.
Yeah.
And it is really, really hard to argue with an idiot.
Yeah, and an idiot that is so self-important that he believes that anyone that argues with him, he's doing them a favour by correcting them.
He offered to have someone bring the picture to show Terry how wrong he was. I wish he had. I would have enjoyed watching him.
That would have been great, wouldn't it?
How the very clearly superimposed letters and numbers were, in fact, on the knuckles.
It's a bit like the other one where he showed the graphs to the Australian
Jonathan
guy.
Swan.
It's just, I love it. I keep going back to that.
Yet you can never remember the guy's name.
But because I'm just laughing and appalled and going, oh my God, it's because it's become more and more of a kind of Australian cult comedy. It's like it belongs in the ilk of Colin from Accounts. It's that kind of I can't believe it's not edited.
No, it's just his genuine incredulity.
Yes.
That he's up against this wall of
idiot. Yeah. Wall of thick. Yes.
And now is the time, I think, for Mark's British politics corner.
In Britain, as with most things, we're less vulgar than when it comes to declaring, I know a famous, so therefore, and I'm more famous than you. But there is a kind of fame-adjacent thing, and this harks back to possibly began with Harold Wilson. So in the swinging 60s, Harold Wilson went to an award for Show Business Personalities of the Year in 1964. He deliberately went in order to be seen to be part of the swinging 60s and backing Britain and all that kind of stuff. And he nominated the Beatles for MBE Awards in 1965. Similarly, when the 60s got recycled yet again in the 90s, complete unknown, Tony Blair, who till then, he took over when John Smith died young. Suddenly, he was leader of the Labour Party in the 90s. He died, and then Tony Blair took over. Nobody really knew who Tony Blair was. So he wanted to become a famous in order to trade in on the, if I'm famous, then people will listen to me. How does that work out, Tony? So in 1996, at the height of Cool Britannia and Britpop, he did a kind of Harold Wilson and schmoozed with all of the people that were famous, and therefore he would come out as a trustworthy guy. And here is famous and trustworthy Oasis guitarist, songwriter, Liam would beat me up, when they won at the Brit Awards in 1996.
And the best British group is Oasis. There are 7 people in this room tonight who are giving a little bit of hope to young people in this country. That is me, our kid, Bonehead, Twigsy, Alan White, Alan McGee and Tony Blair. And if you've all got anything about you, you get out there and you shake Tony Blair's hand, man. He's a man. Power to the people.
You should take Tony Blair's hand because he's a man.
Proper rock and roll, that is.
Proper rock and roll, yeah. And there's the addition of truthfulness being meted out onto how much Oasis deserved to be the best band, because the guy introducing it is Pete Townsend from The Who. So, and who are we to disbelieve him when he says they're the best band? He was obviously reading an envelope and tried to be kind of snarly and, not 30 years out of date. But yeah, he was the guy that wrote the song I Hope I Die Before I Get Old. Still alive. Then Tony Blair actually embraced the fame through a party at Number 10 in July 1997. And there's famous footage of all the people that backed his campaign. And it's got Noel Gallagher and his then wife Meg, Sinead Cusack, Kevin Spacey, Ross Kemp, and Neil Tennant of the Pet Shop Boys, and Lenny Henry all attended the party. I wonder whether they're all regretting that. Now, second example is Starmer, who pretty much is a Blair tribute act. He tried to do the same thing by recruiting people who everyone knows, it's an odd choice because I wonder what demographic he was aiming at. There was a message played in at the Labour Party rally in 2024 by Elton John, and Nick Dubois on Talk TV asked Theo Usherwood the question du jour.
Are you heavily influenced by that celebrity endorsement from first David Furness and then his husband Elton John?
Well, I think what's quite smart with Labour is that we're now entering, of course, the very final stages of this campaign. And what they've done is they've staved up a policy that they know that celebrity musicians particularly, and those who work in the creative industries will like.
Labour's manifesto sets out sensible and practical proposals that promise to give every young person a creative education and help young and emerging musicians achieve the routes to success that have been cruelly and pointlessly snatched away from them.
That's why we're backing Keir and Labour to win this election. There is only one choice. Let's show the world what a creative, prosperous and forward-thinking nation Britain is. Let's get behind Labour to win on July the 4th.
Elton John's a famous, and here's Starmer cashing in on that. And it is a weird, because the thing that Blair did, I mean, he was in his 30s, so he was similar age to the people doing the Britpop stuff. He was kind of a contemporary of theirs. So he could be seen to be hanging out with the cool kids, and the cool kids endorsed him, and the cool kids are the people that we all listen to, unless you're a Blur fan, then you didn't listen to the Gallaghers. But Starmer's just doing this, like Theo Usherwood says, yes, they're doing this thing where they're deliberately getting somebody famous who everybody knows who they are, and it's Elton John. Well, it's weird that David Furnish and his husband is described as David Furnish and his husband.
It's very weird that that's
Elton
the way
John.
Round.
Yeah.
They were introduced in a way.
Yeah, and that they spoke
Yeah.
on the thing. Yeah. So that was in late spring 2024. By late spring 2025, when Labour didn't intervene to prevent AI companies from being able to harvest music data from musicians online, Elton John said this.
If you're going to rob young people of their legacy and their income, it's a criminal offence, I think. I think the government are just being absolute losers, and I'm very angry about it, as you can tell. I want the government to see sense. I want it to come back on our side, because if they don't... But it's really disrespectful. It's really disheartening. I supported the government when Keir Starmer said, I want to help young people in the music business. Well, he's not doing it. And I did that show, and I did it because I believed, but I'm not believing so much now.
So given that he is who he is, we now believe him saying that.
I mean, I think, first of all, there's obviously a lot of crossover here with honour by association of the kind of the endorsement type. But that endorsement only works because you expect that their fame lends them credibility in some way.
Right.
This is the Venn diagram, basically, of appeal to fame versus the honour by association.
Yeah.
But yeah, the credibility I think he shows in the second clip is more about the fact that, yeah, he admits that he supported them. He's not like pretending he didn't and he's never liked him or something like that. Yeah, he's like, oh, I thought they were going to be good. Turns out they were shit.
Yeah, yeah.
There's no reason to be not telling the truth about that. That's
right.
An honest.
Yeah.
Whoever says it, that's an honest thing to hear them say.
Absolutely. But the kind of retrofitting. Oh, actually, Starmer, that was probably not a good idea to get Elton John to say that original thing, thinking that that would be good and it would persuade people to vote for you.
Yeah, I think if you're going to rely on celebrity endorsements, then you should probably keep those celebrities sweet.
Yes, exactly. You should deliver on the thing that they endorse you for.
The exact opposite of the thing that inspired them to endorse you, yeah.
Yeah. And finally, of course, we've got Nigel Farage, who, in the absence of knowing famous people, being famous enough for people to believe what you say, what you do is go out and make yourself famous. So he was kind of infamous, having achieved Brexit and slipped from the public glow of leading the consequently irrelevant party UKIP after he resigned as the leader following Cameron's victory in 2015. He then became a feature on LBC and GB News as a right-wing pundit. But in November 2023, he agreed to be on I'm a Celebrity, Get Me Out of Here, in order to kind of appeal to a wider demographic. I wonder, what was it about the 1.5 million fee that first attracted you to I'm a Celebrity, Nige? With a stated desire to show a different side of himself and reach a wider and younger audience than that of LBC and GB News, he also wanted to dispel misconceptions and all that kind of say I'm a nice guy. And everybody else, us for sure, knew he was using it as, okay, if I can get on this and get some exposure, people will have seen me on telly and therefore believe what I say is worthwhile listening to. In the same way that Boris convinced voters to vote for him after he appeared on Have I Got News For You? And in a way, Farage kind of only exists as somebody described him as his entire life as a piece of camera. He only exists on TV. If we didn't see him, he would disappear.
It's all a performance, isn't it? In a flat cap and a pint of dark ale. It's not. Yeah, that's not how he lives. That's how he kind of. That's what the props people hand to him just off camera before he goes on the news.
Yeah. And that's the character he inhabits. So here he is making himself famous.
I've dealt with snakes in the European Parliament. I believe I can cope with this too. I'm looking forward to meeting people from different walks of life, and that dynamic between that number of people so tightly grouped for so long, I'm sure a few tensions are going to emerge. I'm Nigel Farage, and I'm known, of course, for politics, for Brexit, and I'm a hero to some people and an absolute villain to millions. I mean, I think that my more traditional supporters will say, well, why the hell's he doing it? In the jungle, you're going to find the real me. Who knows? You might like me more, you might dislike me more, but you will at least find out.
You can be a pantomime villain, and people will still join in booing and hissing. And the whole subterfuge of, right, I need to up my circulation. Now I'm no longer visible, not that he ever was when he was a member of the European Parliament. He's off the sidelines of GB News and LBC, on the right-wing programmes that right-wing listeners listen to. He was on a campaign to become famous and appeal to more people, and it only bloody worked.
And what do you think about their leader?
Yeah, I like him. I didn't, but it was I'm a Celebrity that turned my head for Nigel, not going to lie. I really saw a different side to him, and I think he's very misunderstood.
Broderick in London, would you vote for Farage? Brod?
Yes, I would.
Do you watch it normally, Broderick?
Not normally. I'm sort of on the computer, looking at YouTube, what's going on, because I don't like watching too much of the politics of the politicians today, so I tend to keep away from that. But if he was going for Prime Minister, I would back him.
Well, he is. He's always been a bit of a celebrity, Sarah. I went to watch the Grand National with him at Aintree this year. We went together and he was mobbed. He was absolutely mobbed. I thought there was a massive crowd coming towards us. I thought, oh, my goodness me, they recognise Jake Berry MP. No, nothing. Pushed me out of the way. They all wanted their photograph taken with Nigel.
Put him on telly, and I can see who he is. He's a famous. He must be fine. One member of the focus group of the First Voice said he was more relatable, more than these public school educated people. And then another person in the focus group pointed out he was public school educated, unlike Keir Starmer, who wasn't. Yeah. And, I know. And then kind of, so Nige does this whole thing of, he is an ordinary person on the telly and he's funny and I relate to him, bit like people said that about Boris. Oh, he's a cheeky Bertie Wooster. He's funny. Let's vote him in. That'll be good. It'll be funny. It's the kind of, Tory McTory face. It's that kind of jolly, stupid British thing, carry on up Westminster kind of thing. And Nigel kind of talks about, I want to get in amongst real people, and the whole notion of that he's relatable as a real person, it doesn't play out in real life, because just like Boris, he's useless at dealing with real people. And in fact, Farage is constantly tried to be associated with the famous person Donald Trump in order to be seen to be legitimate and a valuable politician, rather than actually serving the real people in Clacton.
Fame makes a man and makes things up. Oh, fame tells his lies, it's hard to swallow. Fame puts you there where things are hollow. Fame, not logic, it's just a trick. They're fallacies you find in the wild, 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 wild,
David Bowie and John Lennon there, of course, with Fame.
I'm not surprised you went for that one instead of the Irene Cara.
Well, I did look
obvious.
at that. I looked at it.
Perhaps.
It's not more obvious to people that know.
Do you not think? You don't think Fame literally had a TV show and a musical and a film?
Yeah, but this came out way before.
Sure.
And this is the only collaboration between John Lennon and David Bowie, and that's why they're much more famous and therefore much more credible. Yeah.
Yeah, fair enough. So, in the Fallacy in the Wild, we like to talk about the fallacy of the week from a non-political perspective, and our first example this week comes from Bojack Horseman, which to some extent is all about fame, really. It's the whole show is a treatise on the benefits of fame and the drawbacks of having been a star a while ago, at least, of something that was big. And in this particular episode, this is from one that I think is largely seen as one of the worst episodes.
Oh, right.
This is from Chickens, because the world of Bojack Horseman, all of the people are animals, essentially. Well, not all of them. There are people as well. And so this was an attempt to deal with the fact that they still eat meat in this world, where animals are also people. And so they had some kind of thing about the chickens that are in society are different from the chickens that we have for food.
Right. Right.
I'm not sure it really worked. But anyway, in this particular one, some of Bojack's friends get in trouble with the police for liberating some chickens from a chicken farm.
Listen up, everybody. I, famous celebrity Bojack Horseman, have an announcement. I'm going to have to ask you to drop all charges against my friends on account of me being a celebrity. We gracefully accept the requisite slap on the wrist and a brief but ultimately pointless trial in the court of public opinion. Good day.
Well, you are famous, so you are all free to go.
Yeah, and it works.
There you go. Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah. One policeman in the background is really annoyed by that, but everyone else is absolutely fine with it.
Fair enough.
He's like smashes a chair on his desk.
Yeah.
Yeah. Everyone else is fine. So.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of it's the other Bojack Horseman, O.J. Simpson. That was the entire basis of his defence, pretty much, wasn't it?
I mean, there was some aspect. There was a whole glove thing. But a lot of it was would a famous person do
this?
That
was brought by the prosecution. Yeah, exactly. Well, and also, to a certain extent, Oscar Pistorius as well. But he's a famous athlete. Why would he do that? Well, it doesn't stop you being a psycho killer.
Yeah.
As well.
So our second example comes from the 90s comic book adaptation, The Rocketeer. With Timothy Dalton.
Yeah.
If the feds get me, I'm taking you with me. I want to tell them everything.
Who do you think they'd believe? A cheap crook or the number 3 box office star in America?
It's the frustrating history of every feminist trial from the suffragette era kind of stuff, isn't it? That whole thing. And also, I love that kind of third, box office third high. So it's a bit like Stuart Lee's 42nd best stand-up comic.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Sinclair there, Timothy Dalton's character, is in bed with the mob, but is confident that he'll be all right, because if they try to get him in trouble as well, if they're taken down, then it's fine, because he's famous. So they'll just believe what he has to say. He's relying completely on this.
Yeah, and in a way, that's the kind of the entire thread of Trump's existence, and it's proved to be right, because I could go out here, shoot somebody in the street, and I could get away with it.
Yeah, when you're a star, they let you do it.
Yeah.
So finally, in this section, we have a clip from Drunk History. Have you seen Drunk History at all?
No. And
it's such a good show.
Having seen this, it's just
such a good show. Basically, they get kind of comedians drunk, and then and they learn a thing about a specific historical event or subject, get them drunk, and then they retell it, and then actors act out that retelling with kind of lip syncing to the drunk person telling the story.
Brilliant.
It's very, very well done.
It's like the kind of it's those drunken treatises that you come out with when you're drunk and you go, I understand now the whole of the universe. And then you have these deep and meaningless conversations, and it's just that.
It's great.
And they're kind of dressed up as a period drama.
It's fully produced.
Yeah,
like the story of it with proper actors. Like Henry Winkler is in this one. It's very entertaining. This particular one was a compilation about inventors, and this section was about Alexander Graham Bell.
Alexander Graham Bell goes off and builds the first telephone off of Gray's plans. Meanwhile, Elisha Gray is busy fighting it in court. I invented the telephone. It was me. This is garbage. He copied me. And even though he got Zenas Welber to testify in court, like, listen, I took a bunch of money from Bell's lawyer so he can invent the telephone. And that's the truth. Still, Alexander Graham Bell is so well known at this point that Supreme Court's like, Alexander Graham Bell wins, and he's the inventor of the telephone forever.
It's just, you just want to go, that's exactly right, and get really outraged.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So Yeah, in this telling, at least, of the story, of the real story, Elisha Gray was the other person who claimed that he had patented the design of telephone that Bell used. It's a lot more nuanced than this.
Yes.
But the full nuanced thing would be much more complicated, especially if you're already drunk.
Right.
To explain. It's essentially the quirk of the British patent system was that you couldn't patent something that had already been patented in another country. So Bell's design was delayed in getting an American patent until the British patent had come through. And so actually, although he'd been using that exact technology and that design for months and months to make his prototypes of his phones and to work on, his American patent didn't go to the patent office until the same day as Elisha Gray's patent.
All right. Yeah.
And there was some shenanigans with the patent clerk there, trying to kind of make it a bit muddy who's got there first and all that kind of stuff. And so there was a court case, but it seems like probably it wasn't just that Bell saw Gray's design and went, that would work, and then made this thing. Yeah. But at least in this telling, the idea is that it's because Bell was already famous that the court went, all right, you're the inventor of the telephone.
Much more credible, yeah. Anyone famous could have wandered in at that time, couldn't it? Edward G. Robinson. I invented that, see?
I invented it, see?
Yeah.
And they'd probably go, you're the inventor of the telephone.
Well, who are we to argue? Yeah.
So we're gonna play fake news, folks. I love the game. It's a great game. I understand the game as well as anybody.
Yes, it's time for Fake News, the game where I read out 3 Trump quotes, 2 of which are real and 1 I made up, and Mark has to figure out which one is fake news.
Okay, but so before we go on, can I just say that we should forgo the effort going through all the usual shenanigans and just award me the win? Because after all, I have had Richard E. Grant standing with his arm around me, and more than once I've mentioned that I once sang Singing in the Rain with Guinness World Records TV show presenter Roy Castle. Plus, I've met Big Ted on the set of Play School prior to having dinner with renowned artists Gilbert and George. Well, at the same time as them.
Yeah.
Across the restaurant. But still.
Like on the same day as you met Big Ted?
No, prior to.
Prior to, okay.
Just like 30 years prior. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think that would have been a weird day.
It would have been a weird day. Going from Big Ted to Gilbert and George.
Yeah.
But enough. Somehow it would all fit together in a surrealistic swirl.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But that's all true. So great. I've won again. And brilliant. Let's see what other people said.
Just go through the motions. We should probably do it anyway.
Okay. But I know famous people. Yeah.
So
I can recognise them and everything.
It's not so much a theme as kind of... What the fuck is this? This is
okay. An outpouring.
I mean, to be fair, that's usually applicable,
right?
Here.
Yeah,
but
that's normally the theme.
I want to make this very clear. Mm-hmm. This was during Trump's speech at Quantico to all of the assembled generals.
Right.
So when Hegseth and Trump got people from active war zones to come
and sit in a room
Quantico
and be told off,
so that they could tell them not to be fat and have beards.
Yeah.
And Trump talked for about 45 minutes to an hour or something. This is some of the shit those respected people were made to sit through.
Yeah.
For some reason, he started thinking about going downstairs.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Statement number 1. America is respected again as a country. We were not respected with Biden. They looked at him falling downstairs every day. Every day, the guy's falling downstairs. They said, it's not our president. We can't have it. I'm very careful. You know, when I walk downstairs I'm on stairs, like these stairs, I walk very slowly. Nobody has to set a record. Just try not to fall, because it doesn't work out well. A few of our presidents have fallen, and it became a part of their legacy. We don't want that. Walk nice and easy.
Yeah, because famously, Gerald Ford couldn't walk and chew gum at the same time. Mm-hmm. Yeah. But that's the only other president. Yeah, okay, yeah.
You don't have to set any record. Be cool. Be cool when you walk down, but don't bop down the stairs. So, one thing with Obama, I had zero respect for him as the president, but he would bop down those stairs. I've never seen... Da 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 bop bop bop. He'd go down the stairs, wouldn't hold on. I said, it's great, I don't want to do it. I guess I could do it, But eventually, bad things are going to happen, and it only takes once. But he did a lousy job as president.
Oh, yeah, by the way, yeah. yeah. So that's if you can equate not bopping, good president, bopping, bad president. Also, he was a young, fit, lithe, athletic kind of guy that could bop. Yeah. We've seen Trump trying to bop. It's not nice. Okay.
Statement number 3.
All right. Yeah.
You can go down the stairs as fast and as crazy as you want, just not even care. Do. But if you can't do the job, if you're terrible at the job like he was, then that's... I could go down fast, but you just don't know. And if it's slippery, or if the stairs are not made well, you could have a problem. And that's why I'm careful. Could you imagine these guys if I fell? They'd never stop talking about it. They already don't report all the good stuff I'm doing. But if that happened, it would be playing on a loop.
Because it's not... It's a bit like the escalator thing, isn't it? It's not that he can't walk and he's got stacked shoes and he's old and he's an idiot, but it's because the stairs are not made well. Yeah. You can guarantee it. It's like the conspiracy of why did they switch off the escalator? Well, it was meant for
I just want to re-emphasise, gathered generals in a room had to listen to this bullshit.
Yeah. Oh dear. And I bet they were kind of like stony faced throughout, but underneath they're thinking, we came all this way. I'm trying to stop an uprising in Sudan for this. Yeah. Okay, on that basis, right, which one do we choose? Well, I'm quite taken with the da bop bop. Now, I mean, because that feels like a bit of if you'd written that, it feels like a bit of a departure. I don't know why I'm saying that, but yeah. Okay, and then the third one follows on from that, which might be a bit of a lure because whilst he would do that, that would be the thing that you would then write. Okay, having said that, the other bit, I think it was the falling down the stairs. Every day he's falling down. Okay, based on nothing whatsoever, I think number 1 is the one that you made up.
Okay, so of the other 2, which you're more convinced by?
Number 2, the da bop bop bop.
And number 2, is real.
You don't have to set any record. Be cool. Be cool when you walk down, but don't bop down the stairs. So one thing with Obama, I had zero respect for him as a president, but he would bop down those stairs. I've never said, da-da-da-da-da-da, bop, bop, bop. He'd go down the stairs, wouldn't hold on. I said, it's great. I don't want to do it. I guess I could do it. But eventually, bad things are going to happen, and it only takes once. But he did a lousy job as president.
Sure could go down them stairs.
But yeah, I had zero respect for him as the president, but he would bop down the stairs. So has he got respect for him bopping?
You have to. You can't disrespect the bopping, can you?
No. He would go down the stairs, wouldn't even hold on. And he'd move his arms. His arms were nowhere near the handrails. They were up by his sides. He's bopping down.
You have to hand it to him on stairs.
Yeah.
He was great at stairs.
He was great at stairs.
Yeah.
You know, I think he'd barely bring himself to say it, but it's kind of there, isn't it? Because he's saying, I had zero respect for him as president, but the opposite for bopping down the stairs.
Yeah, it's like that bit in a debate when they say, can you say a nice thing about your opponent? And he'd be like, well, he's very good at stairs.
Very good at stairs.
Yeah.
So good. I could do it.
And
he says, I guess I could do it. No.
Clearly you couldn't.
You've got to weigh 4 times less than you do. And but eventually I would do it, but eventually bad things would happen.
Yeah.
And it would only take the once. Yeah, have we seen him stumble up the stairs, down the stairs?
We've seen him go all over the place. Difficulty going down a very slight ramp.
That's right. Didn't he have to hold the hand of a general? That's what he's doing. He's briefing all the generals to say, this might happen. So if I'm ever on the stage with you, don't feel reluctant to grab me by the arm and prevent me from falling over, because I'll never get up. They'll have to bring in Greenpeace and drag me back out to sea.
So you also think that number 3 is real?
Yeah.
And number 3?
To doubt it? Yeah.
It's fake news.
Oh, good work. Yeah, see, I should have listened to myself. It was nice. Nice. Yeah. Yeah. And I like, that little convincing, that was the thing that convinced me, was the blame of the stairmaker.
Well, yeah. I mean, he's not going to blame himself. I almost added in slippery shoes or something like that.
Yeah. Slippery slope. Yeah.
So that
nice.
means that number one was the thing he said.
No.
America is respected again as a country. We were not respected with Biden. They looked at him falling downstairs every day. Every day the guy's falling downstairs. He said, it's not our president. We can't have it. I'm very careful, when I walk downstairs, I'm on stairs, like these stairs. I walk very slowly. Nobody has to set a record. Just try not to fall, because it doesn't work out well. A few of our presidents have fallen, and it became a part of their legacy. We don't want that. You walk nice and easy.
He sounds like 106.
Yes, exactly. It's a bit like the guy with the Zimmer in Family Guy. So who does he think he's talking to?
Yeah, this is not relatable for this audience of military
gathered
men.
Throng of centenarians who are going, yeah, there's lots of stairs here, son. Yeah, how do we negotiate those? Well, as an ex-president, let me tell you, the whole reason that he thinks that America wasn't respected, the tale that he tells, the lie he peddles, is because Biden kept falling down the stairs every day. Every day,
yeah. Not a day went by without the news going, Biden's falling down the stairs again.
Falling down the stairs. And everybody said, that's not our president, we can't have it. But whereas Trump, very careful. And see, what he's done is pivot from, what are you talking about? I can negotiate stairs, to... This is like he's pivoted from you're cognitively disabled. No, it's the weave. So now he's kind of gone, well, I'm very careful now, because we're not out to break a record. I'm just very careful. And why didn't he just keep that to himself and just do it? We don't need to know that he's doing that. Once again, this is a room full of the gathered heads of military outfits.
Yeah, none of this was necessary. I mean, basically,
no.
All he wanted to do was rib Biden for being old, basically.
Yeah.
But from the point at which he had lied about Biden falling downstairs every day, he could have moved on to something else if he had anything important to say whatsoever.
Yeah.
Literally none of those generals were sitting there thinking, oh yeah, you think you can walk downstairs faster and better than Biden, do you? No, like that wasn't the thing that was going to come up in conversation at any point. He could have just moved on.
Because they're famously,
he had to go,
a partisan, aren't they?
I may not look like I go downstairs better than Biden, but that's just because I'm more sensible and I'm being careful.
Yeah.
Yes, okay, Obama was much better at stairs than me, but again, I'm just trying to avoid an international incident.
Yeah.
Nobody asked.
No, that's the thing. That's the horrifying thing about the three. Apart from congratulating you on writing one that was very much like the other two, it means he talked about this at least twice in the same speech. Thankfully, given the fact that one of them is not real, he didn't talk about it 3 times.
So we do have some social contestants.
Right, yeah.
On Facebook, Richard Thunder Hopkins says, this one gave me anxiety because I'm always falling downstairs. I guess I have something in common with Donald after all. 3 is fake, and he's an awful, corrupt human being. Yeah.
Nice. There you go. Nice.
And Jeremy said, what's the opposite of undefeated? Defeated. Anyway, I've yet to get any of these right, so take note, anyone after me. I think I heard 2, or maybe the boop in 3, and laughed. Imagine being so fragile you'll fault someone 30 years younger than you for being more youthful. So I think number 3, it's close enough to 2 that one of those is the trick, so 3 is fake news.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, if only I'd spotted that. Yeah.
And on Patreon, Kaz says, Trump is such a nut job, for fuck's sake. How obsessed is he with optics? It's off the scale. I'm pretty sure I've heard him bop, bop, bop with full pathetic animation, and he loves to crap on Obama whenever possible. So I wanted to hear him say number 2, his manic obsession with Biden's old I'm not is his jam, or festering marmalade. But might that be Jim magic? Going for number 1 is fake news.
Yes, I concur. Yes.
Yeah. Invisible Unicorn says, I feel I've heard both 1 and 2, so for the first time, I think I know the answer. It almost guarantees I'm wrong. It's number 3. More than 70 million Americans think this is inspiring. When am I going to wake up from this bad trip?
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah. Renee Z says, in number 1, I can easily believe he talked about Biden falling downstairs, although I think Biden fell off his bicycle rather than downstairs. I also like the da-da-da-da-da bop-bop in number 2. and that he did a lousy job as president. Sounds very Trumpy. Therefore, I'll choose number 3 as fake news.
There you go.
And
what
finally,
was I thinking?
Finally, One-Eyed Nick says, this is the mind of the dementia despot. Stairs make a good president, not keeping the fucking government open. Number 1 is definitely something he said. I seem to remember thinking the president has just said da-da-da-da-da, bop-bop-bop. The US is beyond cooked. It's broiled and fried in batter. So I'd say number 2 is real too, so I'm going with 3 as fake. But I can't say I'd be shocked by any of them. The man is a walking, shit-talking, shit-smelling arse hat.
Arse hat! Yeah. Well, it seems so obvious now.
Yeah, I don't know what you were thinking.
No.
Number 1.
The fact that they were all as mad as each other.
So it's time for the part of the show that this week at least is called QED was not a logical fallacy.
Yeah.
Because that was where we were last weekend. And I think we have possibly talked about QED in this segment before in terms of like giving a kind of after we've been kind of catch up
kind of
thing.
rundown.
I'm not sure if we've done that. We've certainly done it for patrons before, and maybe that's where it would have stayed. But this was the last QED,
so
that is a reason for us to we're going to talk about it. It's not previously part of talking about it is maybe to inspire people to come along to future QEDs.
Yeah,
that's not possible anymore, given that it was the last one.
Yeah, though we did inspire some people to come along to it.
We did indeed. We met some listeners who had said that they heard about it on our show and came along, and in fact came all the way from Australia.
Yep.
Tash, hello.
Yeah.
And
hey, Tash. Yeah.
Yeah, and we met a few listeners. We always meet a few listeners there, but it was lovely, and it was always lovely.
And I think part of it previous years, it's felt like we were kind of fighting is too strong a word, but something about trying to earn our place in the podcastiverse, or trying to actually.
We're on the periphery. Still.
Well,
I'd say but
I suspect that actually we
like
were probably trying too hard in previous years where people would just go, well, you do a podcast, of course you're here, and we've heard it and we really like it, and that was the thing. Whereas this year, I think because several listeners have come up to us and said, we travelled from Australia to be here on your recommendation, and I've just sought you out. We kind of go, oh, okay, wow, what? So it felt I guess because everyone was mindful of the fact that it was the last one, it felt like everybody felt as equal as they'd always been, but had hitherto not felt that because they're kind of, we only do this kind of tiny podcast and you do a massive podcast, and then they're going, but we've listened to yours and we like it. So there was that. I mean, there were lovely moments when we were sat down in the bar. I mean, we put in some hours, for heaven's sake. The kind of the series of talks were for like 10 till 4 or 5, something like that.
Yeah.
And then we did another 12 hours in the bar, kind of thing.
I mean, you make it sound like a chore. It was
it wasn't a chore at all. No, it was an absolute pleasure.
Yeah,
and that was the best bit was when Jim would just go, I'm just going to go off and get some selfies with other people, and he'd go, be gone for an hour, come back and go, well, who did you get? And it's like a collection of, it's like, those kind of football cards that we used to collect as kids when you just go through and go, oh yeah, I've got this one, I've got that one. It was like it's the modern day autograph book with lemon flavoured vodka involved.
Honey flavoured, but
honey flavoured, was it? Was it?
Yeah,
nice, even better. All this time I'm thinking it's lemon. I'm thinking, that's nice.
I mean,
enough,
I'd be very happy with that. I like that.
Yeah.
But no, there was some vodka from Serbia, and Polish vodka as well. There was Malort from Chicago going around. Well, Cecil brought some Malort. That we both thought was fine.
Yeah,
we both tried. I mean, not good, but
no,
fine.
not good. Just didn't.
I've
hate
had
it.
worse. And
yeah, oh God, I've had worse. Yeah,
I've been vaguely aware of Malort going around a couple of times in previous QEDs and have not been kind of in the group,
right?
And had an opportunity to try it, and I'm aware of its reputation as so awful that it's used for pranks.
Ah, well, perhaps it's a kind, and it also it's some sort of anointing liquid that if you end up partaking of it, then you know you're in the gang. And Cecil sought us out and went, try this.
See, I was able to go and have a chat with Cecil because we've had him on the show. I've been on their show. Yeah, I bet I'm best friends with Cecil now. I'm taking Eli's place as Cecil's best friend.
There you go, yeah.
And he's such a lovely guy. Yeah. Such a lovely man. When he brought the Malort out, I was like, oh, bring it over to the table because there's other people I'd enjoy watching them drink it too.
Yeah, and we did get there. It was a bit like that kind of. I suspect my theory is that it's a genetic coriander type thing.
I thought that was my theory.
Was it?
I'm pretty sure that was my theory.
It's very thin at one end, much thicker in the middle, thin again at the other end. Yeah, it was pretty much kind of like that, wasn't it? So the people that drank it didn't like it. I mean, we just didn't not like it. It was all right.
It was fine.
It just kind of go,
it was
that's
bad. But it wasn't the worst thing I've ever
had. But the other
had.
people's faces turned inside out, which was terribly amusing.
It was impressive.
Yeah.
Yeah, and some people still blame us for convincing them to try it. They think that we tricked them in some way.
That is still being held against us,
It was fine. Anyway, so that was part of the experience of being in the bar. And it was genuinely lovely to go and talk to people. I am not someone, as I think is true of a good percentage of the people who attend this kind of basically gathering of nerds.
Yeah.
Like many, I am not good at just going and talking to people.
Yeah.
At all.
Yeah.
And at previous QEDs, I have sometimes seen people I would like to go and talk to, who I kind of either vaguely have met online or have listened to a lot of their stuff and just wanted to say hi and thanks for all the work you're doing, that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
And have struggled to do that. Yeah. And often kind of find my feet doing that, like at the last minute, when the hours are running out of the weekend.
Right. Yeah.
And
well, that's you and deadlines, isn't it?
Well, to some extent, absolutely. Yeah. But I've found that in those waning hours, I've kind of like, oh well, this is it. This is probably my last chance to go and just say thanks and hello and that kind of stuff.
Plus, so you're full of Chicago courage by then.
Yeah, I've kind of occasionally made myself do it, but this. Because this was the last QED, the whole weekend was that feeling.
Yeah.
The whole thing was me feeling this could be my last chance to see these people and talk to them and say hi, and I have things I want to say. Yeah. And so I largely did that, and it wasn't. It still was not easy, and I feel even when people come up to us and talk to us, I'm not good at doing the thing. I'm not good at. I'm better at being talked with. Yeah. Like talking with someone who has made that initial step.
Yeah.
And I am making that step.
The initial,
I still feel kind of.
But I think that's right, because I think the entire this sort of echoes what I was trying to say earlier, and I think it's that the entire attendees are the kind of people that find it very difficult to talk to each other, and that's why it's actually very easy to talk to everybody at that event, because everyone acknowledges that it's very difficult to talk to each other, so they make it as easy as they can.
As soon as you kind of take that step, break the ice, and end up just sitting on a table with someone. Yeah. And occasionally people would just come over and, like, we had a spare seat at our table, and they go, "Is this seat taken?" And they come and sit down. And that's and they were, in many cases, I could tell, just kind of like really making an effort, really trying to trying to just talk to people because it's part of the experience. But we tried to be welcoming, and we got talking to people, and everyone there genuinely. I mean, I haven't been in all the QEDs I've been to, I haven't met a person that I was like, didn't really like them. They weren't very nice.
Yeah, no,
just everyone's so lovely.
Exactly the opposite. Yeah. And we did kind of, we took part in the quiz, but we were late. So
I blame Nick.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, but we kind of aced it and scored. I don't know, what were we, third?
We came third. Yeah, we joined an existing team of 3 who had kind of thrown themselves together, not knowing each other.
Who just kind of went, join in, come and sit with us.
And we corrected several of their wrong answers and then answered most of the rest of it right. We came joint third out of.
But that was the kind of like that was part of the about 30 about the acceptance thing. Began then almost, didn't it? When people just went, come and
join us.
Come and help us.
Let's all be one.
And then we go, well, we think it's this. Well, okay, if you'll go for that. They had no idea who we were, except Robin, who we kind of bumped into us and said, come and sit down. He told us many times that he'd introduced us to, or our podcast, to the people the other side of him. Told us that on several occasions within the same conversation. He was very emphatic about it. Well, let's hope he's discovered us, and there's a shout out, Robin. It was tremendous, and he was almost the last person we spoke to as well. He was almost the first person we spoke to, and almost the last person. It's very.
I mean, we talk like we're talking about a skeptical conference, a conference about science, reasoning, critical thinking, and so far, all we've talked about is just meeting people and chatting in the bar. Well, and that's because
that's the most
that's a huge,
of the time. Yes.
Yeah, it's a huge part of it. It's really important that the talks were great, and we'll maybe touch on a few of them, but the community there, the feeling of community and the feeling that these are your people and this is people who think like in the same kind of way as you do, and that you can be pretty confident that among this group of people, you're not going to meet arseholes. You're not going to meet people who are, right-wing or transphobes or any of that. Like, everyone's really inclusive and lovely and thoughtful about stuff. And also interested, passionate in stuff that they're interested in, but also eager to talk to other people who are passionate about their own stuff. And you get talking about all kinds of different shit.
Yeah, and that is reflected in the menu of the fair that's offered in terms of talks or workshops or panels or episodes of podcasts, that kind of thing. I mean, the talks varied from the imposition of civilization upon art through to the man that invented or made $1 million from sea monkeys ended up funding the Ku Klux Klan and
there was stuff about vultures. That was a really interesting talk. Vultures was great. There was a talk about the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. There was
the activists in India fighting against.
That was fantastic. Abby Phillips, anti-alternative medicine campaigner, really good.
Which is kind of the ultimate skeptics. That was kind of the roots of the Skeptic Society, and Marsh's Skeptic Society were kind of all about pseudoscience, and Marsh told us the latest project he's working on. It was it's the kind of intense detail and intense passion from all of the speakers, and even Robin Ince with his sort of emceeing and his poems and stuff. It was truly reflective of the intensity of the experience of being a member of this community. It was great. There
was talks about how the far right is interconnected with the attack on reproductive rights. There were No Illusions did talk about tarot.
Oh yeah, that was great. Yes,
there was podcast recordings from Skeptics with a K and the No Rogan Experience and Incredulous. So there were so many different things. It's always one of the hardest things with QED is figuring out what to go to. Because there are multiple tracks running. And all of the things are good. There hasn't been, I don't think, a single time period in the ones I've gone to where I'm like, there's nothing during this section that I'm interested in. There's like 4 things to choose from and they're all shit. No, there's always something you want to do, and usually 2 or 3 things that you would also quite like to do if for some reason you couldn't get into the thing you wanted to do.
If we only had Hermione's time shifty thing.
But we do have, in a way, that, because also included in the ticket is the streaming of the things that they filmed of the panels and the main stage talks.
Given that we spent 3 days looking at the things that we did look at.
I'm still watching stuff.
We've got to go back and do that.
Yes.
Yeah.
So we can't advise you to go next time, but there is next year. We discovered that weekend, the European Skeptics Congress in October next year. It's a biannual event, and it is happening next year in Liverpool.
Mhm.
And because they're pretty close by, the team that have organised QED for the last 15 years are organising that next year. So it'll be a smaller event. It won't be QED, but knowing them, it will still be amazing because they are incredibly thoughtful about how they put these things together.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're definitely going to that. So,
Okay.
so
Yeah.
if
So
you
we'll see
happen
you
to be
there.
in Liverpool in October next year, then we will see you there. But yeah, I just like to. I mean, they're almost certainly not listening. I don't think they're regular listeners. But I would like to thank the QED organisers because they have done an absolutely phenomenal job every single time we've been.
Yeah.
It's so good. But I'd also like to thank all of the people who were there and who came up to us or spent time with us because it was just an absolute blast, including several of our listeners who we hung out with for basically most
Days
of the
on
weekend.
end.
And several days after as well, hung out and did a bit of sightseeing. So hi Amber and Heidi and Nick and Gaz and Scarlett and Annette.
Hugh that we bumped into again.
Yeah,
and,
absolutely. Hugh was there.
And Tash that
lots
gave
of
us
people.
gifts.
Yeah, we got some gifts. That's also weird. Taru came over and gave us gifts as well.
Yeah.
Crazy that
So
people
good.
think
I
of
know.
us to do that.
And think of
Amazing
exactly
that
the right
happens.
things to give us.
Yes, lovely.
I'm still working my way through Tash's music. It's all absolutely brilliant so far. Absolutely loving it all. Yeah.
Excellent.
I'm going to be sad when the 9 hours is up. Yeah.
The other person I want to just mention before we move on is Mike Smith, who is someone who we actually mention every episode. He's the one who recognised Amber's name a couple of QEDs ago because we keep using her full name all the time.
Yep.
But he's at every QED because he volunteers and he spends his time helping to make sure the event runs brilliantly. He doesn't get to see much of the event itself at all. He doesn't really get to see the talks. And he is among the team that makes it so amazing every time. And it is a hugely selfless thing. And it's great that people like that exist. So thanks, Mike, for doing that.
And finally, some things we really don't have time to talk about.
Back in July, Trump said that his ridiculously huge ballroom wouldn't interfere with the current White House building and that it would pay total respect to the existing building. But it turns out this guy's not to be trusted. The building probably felt a bit disrespected when its entire East Wing was torn down. And the American people are also a bit miffed, with more than 54% saying they somewhat or strongly disapprove of the demolition compared to only 28% who approve. Of course, it wouldn't be Trump if he didn't do an unpopular thing in the shittiest possible way. So he also neglected to go through the legally required public review process, which would have required consultation and review by the National Capital Planning Commission and the Commission of Fine Arts. Thanks to the inherent swampiness of the Trump administration, it probably wouldn't have mattered much as the current chairman of the National Capital Planning Commission is Will Scharf, who also happens to be currently employed as Trump's staff secretary. Fortunately, Trump informed us that we're all just overreacting, because the East Wing was a very small building, and it was never thought of as being much. Stephen Miller called it a cheaply built add-on structure, and the official press release from the White House described this as just the latest instance of manufactured outrage where unhinged leftists and their fake news allies are clutching their pearls over President Donald J. Trump's visionary addition of a grand, privately funded ballroom to the White House. Followed by a list of other times presidents made changes to the People's House over the years. Notably, none of them involved destroying large parts of the house, nor did any of them plan to create gaudy bling palaces where oblivious billionaires can hold decadent parties while their lowly subjects struggle to buy groceries. Let's just hope he doesn't live to see the gold leaf-encrusted shit mansion completed.
Even when I was a kid, I kind of knew whether a song was bad or not. I even knew something was off with the cover versions of good songs that appeared on the budget Top of the Pops records that traded on their association with the famous TV show of the same name, even though it had nothing to do with it. But when I saw that Jim had linked me to the story about friend of the show, My Son Hunter, actor Lawrence Fox, had released a Charlie Kirk tribute song, I kind of whooped. I'm beginning to think my ear, or nose, throat, for a good song might be waning. Sounding like the quiet bit that you get at the start of a heavy metal number without ever going into the big thrashy noisy bit. It has fabulous lyrics, of course. From a single crack of a shot was when your talking just stopped. Your life was beautifully made, you came unarmed, was betrayed. And the chorus is nothing short of sublime. Charlie is his name. His words struck chords of those who heard so much they sent him to his grave in fear of the power of his words. Now, I don't know whether Lawrence has studiously attended to everything Charlie ever said, or whether he's a shameless grifter trying to worm his skinny, greasy pole of an excuse for a body into Trump's affection orbit. That's not for me to say. Well, yes it is. And yes, he is. But I suspect old Foxy A didn't write this. 2, doesn't know the rule about keeping it real and truthful and emotionally honest, or C, paid no attention to Elton John's entreaties and just shoved some context into AI and sang the first thing it spat out into a cassette recorder. Wise up, Larry. This is how Skynet will get us in the end. Convince you you're a musician, make us think your fame as Inspector Morse's sidekick's sidekick is enough to convince others of the truth of your singer entry in Spotlight. 2 universally panned albums notwithstanding, and then get some schmuck to release it. I'm all for the self-publishing Spotify Bandcamp thing, but surely this is one of the very things the Online Safety Act was created to prevent.
It is fucking awful, isn't it?
It's so...
It is the worst thing that's happened to Charlie Kirk this year.
Yeah, they can't even say in at number 1 with a bullet. No.
We talked last time about the joyful sight of the Pentagon press corps standing up for the First Amendment and walking out rather than signing a pledge of fealty to the drunken former TV presenter who somehow now commands the armed forces. But of course, that walkout left plenty of empty seats in the Pentagon press rooms, and someone had to fill those seats. So on October 22nd, Pentagon spokesperson Sean Parnell announced a new press corps, made up of a broad spectrum of new media outlets and independent journalists. Quite a few of the words in that sentence are either already in invisible scare quotes or have recently had their meanings officially updated by some kind of executive order. Journalists, for example, and broad. The spectrum inhabited by the outlets could in fact hardly be narrower, since it's made up entirely of people who are prepared to only report what proven and practiced liars with white supremacist tattoos want them to report. Among the bootlicking sycophants who signed on are Gateway Pundit, The Daily Signal, Real America's Voice, Tim Pool's Timcast, Red State, Mike Lindell's Lindell TV, and Frontlines, the media arm of Turning Point USA. It's going great so far, with newly accredited Substack The Washington Reporter really holding Secretary Pete's feet to the fire, with an editorial that includes the line, "The guidelines are common sense, and the media freakout is another example of Trump derangement syndrome. Our only concern is that the Department of War has waited until October to implement these new changes." No doubt in months to come, we'll see some tough reporting from the press corps, like new members of the National Pulse, whose coverage of Hegseth's team leaking war plans to a journalist over Signal earlier in the year used the headline, "The Atlantic's war plan leak story exposes Team Trump as thoughtful, competent and ruthless."
Okay. Wow. Wow. Meanwhile, Trump's plan to double the size of the ICE workforce has met a foe more powerful than any activist group. It is decimating new recruits at the agency's training academy in Georgia. It is the ICE personal fitness test. I suspect when he said double the size of the ICE force, he probably went get people who eat as many hamburgers as him. To pass, recruits must do 15 push-ups and 32 sit-ups and run 1.5 miles in 14 minutes. More than a third have failed the physical so far, somewhat impeding the agency's plan to hire, train and deploy 10,000 deportation officers by January. The recruitment criteria has been relaxed to boost recruitment, but even with the minimum requirements, many applicants are simply lying about their physical abilities on the application forms. Now, from what I've seen, ICE has been all about turning up in person and thinking that the recruiting office wouldn't be able to see the apparent differences between the Adonis they have on paper and the Barney Gumble physique that actually stands up when they call their name out, for me, might sound some alarms. Department of Homeland Security spokesman Tricia McLaughlin, in a statement, said that the 1/3 failure rate reflected only a subset of candidates in the initial basic academy classes and not all new hires. She said DHS expects to fill 85% of new deportation officer positions with experienced law enforcement officials who they can fast track. Although they will not be required to pass a fitness test at the ICE Academy, they remain subject to medical, fitness and background requirements. Some of the fresh hires have dropped out of the academy after flunking exams on immigration law and Fourth Amendment limits on officers' search authority. Let's hope those are not the background requirements. Well, let's face it, if they were, we wouldn't have the guy in the Oval Office we do have. We are moving fitness checks earlier in the training sequence to improve efficiency and accountability, not to lower standards, added McLaughlin. The new recruits are the only ones who have to complete the fitness test. Retirees and currently employed law enforcement officers can self-certify without being tested. Damn it. If only Trump was signing up to run now.
Trump is still pissed about the whole Nobel Peace Prize thing, so when he isn't threatening to go to war with Venezuela or Nigeria, backtracking on sending missiles to Ukraine or propping up war criminals who keep breaking ceasefires he claims he's negotiated, he's instructing the Department of War to start testing America's nukes. The instruction, which took the form of a truth on Donald's bullshit social media network, read like this. The United States has more nuclear weapons than any other country. This was accomplished including a complete update and renovation of existing weapons during my first term in office. Because of the tremendous destructive power, I hated to do it, but I had no choice. Russia is second and China is a distant third, but will be even within 5 years. Because of other countries' testing programs, I have instructed the Department of War to start testing our nuclear weapons on an equal basis. That process will begin immediately. Thank you for your attention to this matter. President Donald J. Trump. He spelled his name right, but most of the rest of it is wrong. The US doesn't have the most nukes, that's Russia. China aren't 5 years away from catching up. In fact, if they reach their maximum projections over the next 10 years, they'll still only have a third of the US's current stockpile. Trump didn't spend his first term updating and renovating nukes any more than any other president, and in fact he ended his first term with fewer in the stockpile than he started with. And most importantly, Russia and China are not testing nuclear weapons. The only nuclear weapons tests so far this century were carried out by Trump's good buddy in North Korea. China stopped testing in 1996 and Russia in 1990. Russia have conducted missile tests without any nuclear warheads, but the US totally does that all the time anyway. And if we're relying on Trump understanding the difference, we should probably all start practicing ducking and covering.
I'm taking all my doors off and leaning them against the wall. When you're a billionaire, and I'm sure you'll all be able to speak from similar experience, when you're a billionaire, surely you can simply ignore what anyone thinks of you. You're a fucking billionaire. You don't have to pay any attention. Hell, you don't have to pay any taxes. But of course, fragile, weird-faced, master-race, delusional Dr. Strangelove arm spasm tribute actor Elon Musk can't let anything lie, least of all the truth. He's taken issue with the facto files at Wikipedia being all independent and objective and truthy and venerated and revered and supported and defended as the last bastion of common sense in the current fucked up by the likes of disimp peddlers Musk, Bezos, sucker Trump world. Resistant to any overtures on Muskie's part to buy the thing, he's decided to launch his own version that he's touting as a less biased alternative, i.e. one that agrees with everything he thinks and says and reflects the fantasy land he inhabits. Thankfully not called Exipedia, he's named it Grockipedia. And it reminds me of when Bill Gates tried to create MSN, his own version of the internet, because somehow the freely accessible, Internet Explorer, interwoven web of independently produced homegrown sites of interest wasn't somehow controllable enough. And we all know what happened there. It failed, and we all benefit now from the joy of having an online environment free from the influence of corporates and billionaires determining and tracking our every move and trying to sell us stuff as a result. No, hang on. I think I may have inadvertently typed internet into Grockipedia.
As we teeter on the brink of this government shutdown becoming the longest in US history, Trump and the other assholes he hangs around with have found various quasi-legal or just illegal ways to make sure the troops and the masked ICE thugs still get paid. Meanwhile, they've done everything they possibly can to ensure that poor Americans suffer. In particular, I'm referring to the 42 million low to no income Americans who rely on SNAP benefits for more than half of their monthly food budget. 83% of them are either children, elderly, or people with disabilities. They're also disproportionately more likely to be black, Hispanic, or Native American. What I'm saying is, you can see why Republicans are keen to make their lives harder and ideally kill some of them. Democrats tried to advance a plan to fund SNAP despite the shutdown, but Republican Senate Majority Leader John Thune rejected it, saying, "We're not going to let them pick winners and losers." Of course, while this shutdown is dragging on, it's not the first one, and SNAP benefits have continued during every single other shutdown since they were introduced as food stamps in the 30s. Trump's own Department of Agriculture even had a 55-page contingency plan on their website, showing how to keep SNAP running during a shutdown. But then someone, I'm guessing Stephen Miller, since this seems like the kind of thing he'd do, whispered to Trump that they could just refuse to feed hungry children for a bit of a laugh. and they promptly deleted the plan from the website and pretended it would be illegal for them to fund the programme some other way. And you know what a stickler for the law Trump is? He'd love to help, but his hands are tied. 25 states' attorneys general sued the Trump administration to force them to release the funds, and last week US District Judge Indira Talwani ruled that the administration must disperse SNAP payments, saying Congress has put money in an emergency fund for an emergency, and it's hard for me to understand how this isn't an emergency. The deadline imposed by the judge ended just a few hours ago, and the government has announced that they will pay half the usual amount, but that it might take weeks or even up to several months for the payments to go out. I don't think that's in the spirit of the judge's ruling, so we'll be watching to see what happens next. But meanwhile, I'd advise watching the Hunger Games films for a few pointers on how to get an advantage over the other tributes.
In British politics this week, it seemed to be all about money. It's always about money every week, really. Anyway, Kemi Badenoch revealed on the anniversary of her taking up the office of Tory party leader that the party nearly ran out of money as their donors dropped them in droves after their woeful defeat in the last general election. I wonder how they persuaded donors to stay, never mind giving them money. Might it have something to do with moving further to the right and stirring the immigrants are to blame pot in order to deflect attention away from, say, billionaire party donors who can write that off as a tax-exempt kind of thing? Rachel Reeves got berated by Nigel Farage for possibly having to break a self-imposed, but no one really cares anyway, red line vis-a-vis raising tax. Of course, she'd be raising income tax on the working population and not the people like, say, billionaire party donors who Green leader Zach Polanski reminds us earn more overnight whilst they sleep than entire cities of working people earn in their working lifetimes. Farage then went on, probably to blame the migrants, for the fact that he wouldn't be able to effect the massive £90 billion tax cut he touted off Refuxbeer Matt Scribble's manifesto. Either someone had whispered Liz Truss in his frog-like ear, or many of his voters had seen Led by Donkey's latest video in Clacton showing that Nige has earned £1.1 million from his 12 other jobs since he's been elected as an MP to represent their interests. Meanwhile, Jeremy Corbyn will be appearing on screen as the Wizard of Islington in an upcoming production of the Panto in North London, though next door's Keir Starmer was less than convincing at his audition for Baron Hardup.
So that's all the bad arguments and faulty reasoning we have time for this week. You'll find the show notes at fallacioustrump.com, and if you hear Trump say something stupid and want to ask if it's a fallacy, our contact details are on the contact page.
If you think we've used the fallacy ourselves, let us know. And if you've had a good time, please give us a review on Apple Podcasts or wherever you get your podcasts, or simply tell one other person in person about how much they'd like our podcast. And you can support the show at patreon.com/ftrump, just like our strawman level patrons Chuck Gray, Mike Smith, LT, Colin Laila, Richard Thunder Hopkins, Will M. Scott, Mark Reike and Amber R. Buchanan, who told us when we first met her at QED we could just call her Amber. And last year at QED I met the listener who recognised her at QED the year before because we keep using her full name all the time. And this year we looked at fossilised trees and marvelled at the interconnectedness of all things. And our true Scotsman level patrons Renee Z, Melissa Sitek, Stephen Bickle, Janet Ueta, Andrew Houck and our top patron Kaz Tui. Thank you so much for your continued support, everyone. It's very, very much appreciated.
You can connect with those awesome people as well as us and other listeners in the Facebook group at facebook.com/groups/FallaciousTrump or in the Discord at fallacioustrump.com/Discord.
All music is by The Outbursts and was used with permission, so until next time on Fallacious Trump, we'll leave the last word to the Donald.
That's right, go home to mommy. Bye. Bye!